A very good morning to you and welcome to Idea Morning Digest here on Idea Television. And like we always tell you, this is the place where you get to hear things about science, technology, entrepreneurship, business, policy development, and every other things affecting our life, every other issues that concerns you and I. Yes, this is the right place to be. This is the right place to hear it. And this is the place we implore you rather to hear it from first. We are so glad that you're starting your
Yes,
morning with
well,
us. And this is the 2nd of January 2026. The long awaited 2026 is
it's
here.
here.
It's long awaited, but it came in very fast because 2025 was just as if we just entered 2025 and the next thing we are out of 2025 and now we're in 2026.
It doesn't feel like that
It,
for me, though.
it doesn't.
It
Really?
doesn't.
2025 was long for you.
Yeah, it was long for me. I was saying it
Really?
like, this year is taking longer than I expected.
Really?
Let's do and just enter
Really?
2026 very fast.
Oh, wow. I think you must be the first person I'm hearing this from because every
Okay.
other person I've met have told me that 2025 was really, really swift, not just fast. It was very swift. It just breezed in and then breezed out. But then that's how we start our morning on the Idea Morning Digest today. But before we go through the headlines we're going to bring your way, we want you to join the conversation. Send in your thoughts, send in your opinions to us. Send in what you want to know about, send in what you want us to know about as well. And you can send it to all our social media platforms at Idea Television and via email at Idea TV Limited. My name is Cynthia Basi, and of course, I cannot forget to introduce my wonderful co-host.
Mary Ojumajo.
Yes, Mary. Okay, let's go through the headlines we are bringing your way this morning. The first headline we are bringing your way this morning. Business owners protest alleged double taxation by AMAC in Abuja. And then media group calls for stronger African journalist network. Anthony Joshua, I beg your pardon, driver detained after Lagos-IBADAN Expressway crash. And then NDPC moves to restore trust in Nigeria's growing digital space. And yes, these and more are what we'll be bringing your way this morning. But before that, let's go on this quick break and we'll be back.
(5G) technology. 5G technology promises to be a game changer by delivering ultra-fast internet speeds, low latency, and the ability to connect millions of devices seamlessly. It's going to fuel the future of smart cities, autonomous vehicles, and IoT devices, allowing them to communicate in real time. However, 5G rollout isn't without hurdles. High costs of infrastructure and regulatory issues in some regions have slowed down implementation. By 2026, the 5G market is expected to be valued at $667.90 billion, with the US, China, and South Korea leading the change. The challenge? Cybersecurity risks and data privacy will remain top concerns as more devices become connected.
Okay, it's good to know that you're still there with us. This is the Idea Morning Digest, and now we're starting with the first story we have here. Business operators in Abuja have accused the Abuja Municipal Area Council of double taxation, alleging harassment through demand notices, seal threats, and court summonses for services already paid to the FCT authority. They say AMAC's action defy multiple court rulings that declare the council lacks legal authority to enforce public health and environmental fees. Affected businesses warn that the continued enforcement is hurting operations, while FCTA officials caution that payments to AMAC may not be recognized and could amount to contempt of court. Very, very interesting one here. Still back to tax matter. It has been bringing a lot of issues here, and if we want to get a little bit of the context, AMAC is one of the 6 area councils in the FCT, Federal Capital Territory, and it is created to handle all of those grassroots administration, like sanitation, like local market needs, like all those community services and some other regulatory functions. And then the FCTA, which is the Federal Capital Territory Administration, because the AMAC is the Abuja Municipal Area Council. Yes, and then the FCT is the Federal Federal Capital Territory Administration, and the Federal Capital Territory Administration, on the other hand, is there to, it operates more like the government.
Yes.
Yes, it operates more like the government. It oversees all those broader policy, not on local levels. The FCTA it's the Federal Capital Territory is a state. It's a federal it's the capital of Nigeria, so it's not operating like the state, but we know it's people's villages, it's people's states. So what operates on the state level is that AMAC. So the FCTA operates more on the broader level, broader policy level, broader infrastructure, revenue frameworks and all of those things. And then the tension here is not new. We've seen this for some years now, because businesses have complained that multiple government layers are, collecting similar levels under different names from them. That's what I was talking about the other day. We were talking about people in the value chain, that it is the value chain that will bring all the troubles we are talking about when we talk about taxation. It's not the tax itself. It's not the policy the government is bringing itself. The policy is good, but now the value coming down to the value chain and state levels. And I even like that, to state for a matter of fact, I even like that all of this, some states now are beginning to harmonize
the tax.
Yes, the tax, the new tax policy reform with their state. They are beginning to harmonize it, and now it's going to make people, especially business people, small business owners, and all of those smaller, people that operate on the smaller level. It will remove that fear from them a little. At least they will have the assurance that they are guided, that there's something, there's something guiding them, there's something regulating them, because those are my fears. First of all of those unnecessary taxation, multiple taxation from unnecessary bodies, and then if the tax is going to work for what we want. But not to digress too much, we've seen that people have been complaining a lot that, different, they have been taxing them for different levies, under different names. You'll be hearing environmental fees, you'll be hearing public health permits, sanitation charges, this one, that one, sometimes for the same premises, they'll collect like up to 10 taxes from you. So all of these things, I see, if you want to look at it, it's more like, what makes this particular case more serious is the legal angle to it, because owners say courts have already ruled that AMAC, according to the news, does not have the legal authority to, enforce certain public health and environmental levies on them, especially where those responsibilities fall under the FCTA. Despite that, we've seen that enforcement have continued, allegedly continued. That is what people are coming out to say. And this is where the conversation becomes very uncomfortable, if we want to look at it. Because when court judgment exists and enforcement still goes on without, people's prior knowledge, we are, what we are seeing here, we are no longer just talking about taxation again. We are talking about institutional contradiction, because it's more like FCTA is coming out to say, we are not doing this. AMAC is coming out to say we are collecting taxes for this, we are collecting levies for this. So it's kind of contradicts itself. It's very confusing here, and possibly we can count it as contempt of court. I'm not a lawyer, but based on my understanding. But what is very interesting here is that some of the officials from the FCT are also warning businesses that payments made to AMAC may not even be recognized. So it's very confused. That's why I say it's contradictory here, because these are two structured bodies, if I should put it that way, or agencies. So they are not agencies, should I say structured bodies? So when this one comes out to say this and the other one comes out, they're only confusing people. And what this even means again is that some business owners could even end up paying twice. Meaning you're going to pay to AMAC, you're still going to pay to the FCTA. And is it AMAC or the FCTA? I think it's the AMAC that is even digitizing their own mode of payment. So the whole thing is very, very confusing here. Very, very confusing. And let's be honest, this might be my unpopular opinion. Yes, it might be my unpopular opinion, but taxation itself is not the enemy, like I said before. And I'm going to continue saying it. What should be done here is just proper education. Let people understand what is going on. Let regulatory bodies regulate well. Governments need revenue to provide responsive public services for us. So we cannot say we don't want to pay our taxes, because we just don't want to be confused. Let the government try to separate this thing properly. We don't want a taxation system that will destroy trust at the end of the day. I think I've said
You said a lot about it. You've even said my mind somehow in some areas you've touched actually. The thing is, the tax, it's not like we're fighting against the tax, but let it be transparent enough. Let's know what we are doing. Let's sum up these taxes and know that, okay, we are paying this tax like this, not paying here and paying here. And that's what they're about to protest for, because double taxation, how much are you earning? How much are you making as a person? How much are you making as an individual to come and be paid, to come and be paying double taxes? That's what each person is asking themselves. So if they are doing this thing, let it be very transparent, where everybody will see that, oh, this is what we are paying tax for. And I just pray that at the end of the day, this our tax should yield us result, huge one, because that will be where another protest will come up, where in a situation whereby, a country is paying tax and they are not seeing what the tax is being used for, is another thing, because everybody is now calm on the tax reform law bill and all that. They're just waiting to see where they can hit the hammer on the head. I'm always saying this, I'm not against the tax. Yes, it's good for us to pay tax, but let the government be transparent enough so that the citizens, us, yes, let's know what we are paying for.
Businesses will suffer as they're already complaining.
They're already complaining already, and every
cost of living in FCT.
exactly. And right now, people have started adding prices to their things. If you notice very well, if you want to buy something now, the person, maybe the thing is 50 naira or 100 naira, the person is not giving you for 150. That 50 exactly, because thank you very much, because nobody will want to like be selling at the direct price and then getting short of of their market. And so all these things is going to come up at the tail end. So that's why I just want to center on the transparency. Let them be transparent enough. Let them come out, teach people about the tax, educate them, so that Nigerians will know what they are doing. They have gone through the 4 walls of university, secondary school, that would understand what this tax reform law is not all. So for the meantime, for people that that would not understand, just like the market women, most of the market women do not even understand. That's why it's looking like they're fighting against the tax. So we need to educate them. We need to come down to the grass level and educate them, bring them up, let them understand what they are paying for. Let them know that this tax is helping, is going to help us. Because we're in a country where everybody's looking for help, right? Exactly. So there's no how you will hear that paying this tax is going to help us, that you won't want to contribute, you won't want to pay. So me, I just feel at this point, yes, they should make it more transparent so that we can put our head together and know that, okay, this is what we are paying, and this is where we are paying to, and this is how the payment is being done. So that nobody would come outside and be complaining and be giving here and there opinion of this one and that one. So the transparency is very important.
It's very important, because when 2 government agencies are contradicting them, or government bodies are contradicting themselves
like lack
publicly,
of communication.
I mean, citizens will be caught in the middle, will be confused. But then let's move to the next story we have here. The Vice President of Morocco's National Association of Media and Publishers, Mohamed Daki, has called on African journalists to strengthen continental collaboration in order to protect Africa in a more positive light. Speaking in Casablanca, Daki said a stronger network among African media professionals would enhance the telling of Africa's stories from an indigenous perspective, while highlighting the continent's development, progress, and investment opportunities. He noted that closer cooperation would also deepen professional partnerships among journalists across Africa, promote knowledge sharing, and help counter negative stereotypes often associated with the continent. Daki stressed that a united African media front is essential for advancing balanced reporting and fostering greater understanding of Africa's social, economic, and political realities.
Okay.
I think this is a very... Let me move to my very reflective tone, but then I think this story speaks directly to us in the media space, and honestly to our responsibility